All right, so we are back in Matt's garage. Kind of finished it up, the last of the big projects. What I have to do is countertops, Blue Tree countertops, Blue Tree backsplash with a 6-inch maple walnut backsplash, paper stone backsplash above that, TV, surround sound. There's a center channel, 2 bookshelf speakers. I guess they're bookshelf speakers. They're very nice speakers. Doing 2 in the ceiling. There's a subwoofer. There's a bunch of outlets we're going to put in the list of cabinets, some power strips, countertop 4 over the garbage can. One thing I did already do is I did the Rivian charger because Matt has a Rivian coming. So the Rivian charger is installed. But anyway, we'll take you through the process. There's quite a bit of work to do. A lot of it's detail work. So we want to get it right. All right, so they sent the backsplashes a little bit long. So I'm going to trim this one. I got to take basically just under a 1/4 inch off, which ends up being about 5 millimeters. So trick is I am clamping my speed square to this to use as a guide, so I make a nice straight cut, and then I'm cutting it from the back side because the blade turns this way. It cuts up through. That way we're not splintering, cutting downward. If I cut the other way, the blade's coming up through the face, which we don't want to risk having some janky look from this side. So anyway, I just set this in place. I'm going to see how close I am. This has got to be pretty accurate here. About a 1/2 millimeter off. And see, I'm just nicking the tape. So, and this is the back side, so it doesn't matter. So move that just a hair. The chop saw would be the other option, but doing this by myself, I don't have to support this way out there because I can do it off sawhorses. So this is easier to do. And I've got a fine tooth blade for this saw, which is what I need. That's it. There we go. Nice clean cut. There's what we took off, and that's the face. That's this face here. So nice clean cut. Brand new blade. So take this off. Mike, I'll give you this, Mike. You can take that home with you. You know, as a memento from me, Mike. It is an artifact. You know, let's see what it looks like on this side. This is the side that matters. There we go. There's the face. That's what we see.
That's perfect.
Looks pretty good there. Okay.
The temperature's a little warm.
It's probably, how warm is it out here, Mike? What if you had to guess? I don't have my phone on me.
I'd say 98.
That hot, you think? I don't think so. I'd say 93.
Okay.
All right, let's look. Wow, Mike, we're both off. Yeah. It's only 87.
Oh, that's weak.
What?
This summer is going to be rough.
All right, so I've got the backsplash now cut, so it's the right length. So what I'm doing now is I have to attach the backsplash to the countertop. And the reason I'm not attaching it to the wall is because the wall is not perfectly straight, nor is the backsplash. I mean, it's wood, so it's got a little bow to it, what have you. So I think what I did is I put the countertop up here, and then I put the backsplash against the wall, and then put tape when this is flush against the wall, I put a tape mark here where the countertop and the backsplash intersected. So then when I take it off, now I can just line up the tape mark with the backsplash, clamp it in place, and then the bottom I'll pre-drill and through screw it so it's physically attached to the countertop. The trick is going to be getting this together all as one piece. As you can see, there's biscuits and then hardware that attaches the two halves together. We don't have the ability to, run it long and put some sawhorse out there because we're bookended with closets. So what I think we'll end up doing is we'll bring both countertops up, lean them up So they're out here, get them bolted together, and then set them down and slide them back in place. The only thing I won't be able to do is put the 2 biscuits in for the backsplash. We'll just have to, what I'll have to do is get behind them. If one's slightly off from the other, I'll hide a little shim back there, just a very like thin shim if need be, to get them exactly flush. And then what I plan on doing is, because the irregularity with the block wall, even though this stuff is really nice and really flat, because there's irregularity with the blocks, I plan on taking and putting a really fine bead of black caulking across this edge here, right in this inside corner, to finish it off. So if there is a little shim, I'll just cut it off smooth and then caulk over that. You'll never see it, but hopefully I won't even need one. Hopefully they'll be pretty darn close. So get those in, and then the wiring will be carried all the way through. Hang the TV up. I've got all the powers done in here. So we have a total of 20. See, there's 20 on the power strips, and then there's 4 in each one of these boxes. So that's 16, that's 36 receptacles. Hopefully that'll be enough for old Maddie's charging, because he's got all his camera stuff he's gonna put in here, lights. We've got the NAD that gets plugged in here. Anyway, it's nothing draws a lot of power, but there's just a lot of individual outlets. So it's on a 20 amp circuit, so it should be plenty. What else? I think that's it for now. Should have this knocked out the next week or 2. Pre-drilled, Michael? Yes, definitely pre-drilled, because this is pretty hard wood. I don't think you're going to drive a 3-inch screw through it. Just want them nice and flush. I'm doing them about every 10 inches or so. Can't have too many. Milwaukee countersink bit. This is for a number 10 screw.
What are you using to drive them in the surge?
I'm not using the surge. The surge is a little less power for this kind of thing, so I'm just using the M12 impact. Nice and flush. All right, so now I gotta move that clamp down.
So you can see here how bowed it is.
Yeah, right, it's gotta go right to that. And this is not Blue Tree's fault, this is just, it's wood. I mean, that's how it goes. You get wood, after you cut it, it gets moisture in it. It can do goofy things. Come on, there we go. Right there. Okay.
Serious piece of wood there, bro.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll just bring this out. We'll just have to angle the whole thing out. Get it separated far enough. Let's just try it. I don't know how well it's gonna work. So because I can hold it out, or you can tighten at least the front one, and then we can tip it up, you know what I mean? There you go, because I got this. There you go, perfect. And I can start shoving when you tell me.
Okay, bring it to me. Okay, we're in.
We can do all the tightening outside of the cabinet array. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we can just hold it right there. That's pretty good. No gap.
Back actually pulled together nicely without it.
Yep.
All right, get this crap off of here. I'm ready to come down.
Now. You got to come out way out, all the way out. Basically, you got to go all the way. There we go. Okay. Right there's good for now. Then I can do all my wire makeup. That went. It was a little heavy. We got it though. It took 3 of us. You had to put down your camera to help us out, hold this up. So there's some hardware. Obviously there's the 6 biscuits, and then there's some hardware that joins it together. So we basically had to tip it up on the backsplash, get the hardware through, pull it all tight, set it back down, slide it in place. So now what I have to do is join the wiring. This wiring gets connected to this outlet here, and get both ends joined, and then we can slide it back in place and then through screw it from the bottom of the cabinet. So yeah, looks good, came out well. I'm happy with it. It's pretty well where I wanted it to be. Okay, so yesterday we got the backsplash. I installed the backsplash on the back side of on the countertop, through screwed that. So that is now installed. The outlets, 4 outlets in the backsplash, those are all wired up. The counter is now screwed to the cabinets. And one detail thing that I did do as part of the countertop and the backsplash is we had some leftover counter material for over there. And this, you could kind of see behind the cabinet. So I cut a piece of that and used that as a fill so you're not looking back behind. I did that on both sides. So that kind of finished that off because you could see the Harbor Gray wall from the back. So let's take you through. The TV is now mounted. That took 2 of us. Matt and I hung that up. So all that's really left, well, let's take you in here first. So wiring is done here. So this is for Matt's chargers. This shelf is for Milwaukee chargers. So we have a quad, 2 duplexes basically there. And then another one down here that's going to be for the Ego chargers. So I've got 2 Ego 700 watt chargers that are going to go in there. So that completes this. The subwoofer is also wired in. So I ran power from the subwoofer, and actually it's plugged in there, but it's hardwired into this box here. So that's taken care of. What else? I'm going to put an outlet up here in this cabinet, up in this upper left-hand corner. Just a single duplex for the TV and the Apple TV. So that's it, and I'm going to tie that into, we're going to plug that into a power strip. That way it's got surge suppression. So that's the last piece of the puzzle here, and then the 2 back channel speakers, which are these Dynaudios here. Those are going to go about 8 feet apart, somewhere around here. Yeah, it's coming together. I love it. I think, oh, and Matt wants to do black acoustic treatments in here now. So we're going to tie in with the backsplash, the black backsplash. And I think he was kind of counting, I overheard him say about, I think, 20 some odd acoustic treatments, 2x4.
That's a lot.
So what was it? It was like 6 on that wall and like 17 on the ceiling, I think. I think that's what it was. And then some here too. There's lots. So maybe it's 27. I can't remember the number, but it was in the 20s. So that'll be another, he's got to order them all. So that'll be another, that's a smaller project. Just a small project, Mike. Just, you know, this is like I think he was on YouTube last night. Yeah. Or no, he was on Instagram live. Yeah. And he was going through kind of rough numbers. It's over 100 right now. Retail. Sure. Retail. So this will be a retail $125,000 garage. And I don't even think he has all the tools he'll end up with either yet. Maybe some more Sonic can fit in.
Your labor, Mike.
Well, the labor's, yeah.
Very expensive.
Very expensive. Yeah. Yeah, Mike.
All right, working through, we got our charger set up here. And so I like having, I don't know if I talked about this earlier, but I like having the supercharger, which I'll use most of the time. And then you have the bigger rapid charger for, you know, when you're doing bulk stuff. And I actually kind of like it this way, where you keep the M12s, like naturally this is the back and this is the front, but I think it makes sense to put it this way because the power cord's on the back side here, and then it's easier to get at the M18s. And then I'm setting up, I'm gonna get rid of this basic charger that comes with your Ego. Instead, I got the turbochargers, and the turbochargers are supposed to go like this upright, but I'm gonna mount them horizontally like this, so that way I can chuck the battery right in there. I had made these little high-end little speaker jumpers. Kind of dumb to have a high-end little jumper there because you know, the wall, the wire coming through the wall is just basic 12 gauge. I think this is like a 4 gauge or something like that. So the speaker's going to sit here, and then I've been messing around on the GIK acoustic site about doing some acoustic treatments. So I do a couple of, they make like a little 12-inch hex that I could put here, which should help with the first reflection point. And then here you can hear the slap echo in here. I could get rid of pretty easily for a, you know, a small sum of $5,000 because if you're gonna, you can't just do a couple of acoustic treatments. You either need to do it or not do it. And so I would need 17 on the ceiling. The thing I'm thinking, I have to decide, it'll darken this place up a bit because I would do black, and the black would tie in the backsplash. I just don't know if I want to go that dark, so I need to sleep on it, think about it for a little bit, and see if that makes sense. So all the power is active over here. So we have our under cabinet lighting. You can kind of see what that adds to the equation. I have my power connections here. The TV is mounted. Boy, that was dicey. That sucker weighs like probably 110 pounds. And then we had to, you know, kind of hoist the thing up there. And because I wanted it really, really tight, because there is a big bundle of the 3 wires that are coming, the power cord and the 2 HDMIs. So they punch up through the bracket, and so, or through the shelf, so you don't see anything there. I got all matching. So these are for all my scan grips. So I got all these little matching little Amazon little, whatever these things are called, little charging blocks. And so I'm going to tie this all up and have like a little umbilical cord in various areas of here. For the left side is going to be for all my scan grip lighting. The right side is for my camera chargers. So I'm going to kind of tack this up here, and these have magnets, and so we're going to see how that fits. And then last night I finished up the audio setup, what's powering the system here. So I have my amp or my receiver. So you know, I could have done. I guess I could do a separate preamp, but I wanted NAD in here because I wanted to do blue sound, and I wanted surround sound. So I'm not using most of the capability of this. This amplifier isn't good enough for those speakers. You know, it works, but I think this is rated at 85 watts per channel. This is rated at 320 watts per channel. So, so I ponied up the cash and bought the 2 NAD C298s. So this amplifier here is bridged mono, so it'll show up bridge mode when we turn it on. And that's doing the center channel. And then the other C298 is set up in stereo, and so that's what's powering the left and right speakers. And then we're putting the rear speakers in the ceiling. So these are the rears that are going to go in. These are C80s, S4 C80s of the Studio series. So these are way overkill for a garage. But we're going to put these in the ceiling to continue the theme of awesomeness with our silk dome tweeter. We'll set the tweeter up like this, and so we're really only going to use 2 channels of amplification. On this 758. So the 758 will power these. After that's all set up, then I'll run the microphone out to the middle, and we'll do a direct calibration, which will help with a lot of the tuning of the room. And so I have the microphone set up here with like a 25-foot cable. I'll run it in the middle of the room, do a couple of points of room calibration, and we'll have a pretty legit 5-channel surround sound setup. Once the TV's broken in, I have to run the TV about 100 hours. Then I'll have my ISF guy come and do a calibration on the display.
Is that one season of Heartland maybe?
Yeah, I'll watch a couple seasons of Heartland out here, and
I'll take care of it.
Yep. Yeah. So what else do we do in here? Yeah, this is a permanent setup. This, and I said I'll take my listos with me. Well, good luck with that. It'd take us a day just to break this thing down now, but it's all coming together. Under cabinet lighting's done. Audio's about to turn on here. So remember, we have simple Apple TV 4K. I bought a new Apple TV out here. Seems like I've acquired a lot of Apple TVs the last couple of years. I think now I have, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4 in this house, and then I think I have 5 in the Helen house. Yeah. They're cheapish. Yeah, so I got now, after we get this project done, then I'll get into some more drawer organization stuff. It's looking pretty sharp though. And I just have to decide what I'm going to do. What I may do is, as I think about it, I'll catch the vision for it. Maybe I'll do black on the ceiling. I don't know. So if I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 across the top wall there, then I would do 1, 2, 3, 4. So those would be 24 inch by 36 inch with one 24 by 48 above the center channel. And then I'd have 24 inch by 48, 24 by 48, two pairs. So 8 of them here, 8 of them there. So they'd be sort of double stacked. That would take care of this wall's reflection points. And then I would do horizontally this way, so 24 by, so the 48 this way, 24, so I do 5 of those here, 5 of those there, 3 there, 3 there. So that was like 17 on the ceiling. And then 1, 2, 3 more 24 by 36s, and 1 more 24 by 48, but that would like black this whole thing out. So I don't think I'd want to do that. There you go. TV works. Didn't blow up. Oh yeah, this is good. This is real nice. I need something with decent...
You know, it's a secret gift is the fact that shelves there, because it kind of...
Yeah, it does. It makes a big deal.
Yeah.
It's sending sound. It's one thing we got to find out is that, okay, good. Did that HDMI cable work? And it does. Nice. Everything works. That's good. I wish you could take a receiver like this. I wish NAD would make it selectable where I could like bridge the rears and get more power to them, but this receiver has tons of power, so it'll be fine. Yeah, this is good. So if I want to turn the system off, I just hold the button, turns everything off. With consumer electronics control, CEC control, you know, the Apple TV, all of these communicate. And so when I go to turn on the Apple TV, it tells the TV to turn on, tells the TV to switch to the proper input, tells the NAD to turn on through all the HDMI connections, and we're rolling. And then I also have the ability to run, you know, Blue OS. And so if you can see my whole house on the Blue OS app. And so there's the garage, there's the pool, left pool area, right pool area, outdoor kitchen area, and then my home theater. And then I do need to add the living room Ambio soundbar as well. And then we have I put some speakers in the master bath as well, and so those will show up on here once we get the power plug set up for those. It's pretty sweet. What's better than 1 turbo? 2 turbos. Unless you talk to
1.4 kilowatts.
GTR nerds. They're terrible cars. Oh shoot. I think that's freaking crooked. Bang! Let's do it all. That's real nice. Twin turbos. And my headphones right here. Ready to grab and go. That's it's a nice cabinet right there. It's a good unit. A lot of goodness there.
It's worth between tools, cabinet, labor.
It's a couple bucks. A couple of dollars. There's my bike rack.
I'm surprised you ever stuck that on your car.
This is for the Tesla.
Oh, okay.
And I never did put it on there.
Right here. Okay, so basically I can move away the corner. Okay.
What we did here is where the sub is, all the power wire and the audio cable come from behind the cabinet. So rather than have them laying on top of the floor, I just used the multi-tool and cut this out here and shoved it in between the wall and there, so it's nice and flush, so it's not sticking up top. So that makes it look a little cleaner. All right, so one of the details we're getting installed last minute here is the orange vise. This is the OG edition, which is blue instead of orange. So what I'm gonna do is take the base off. It's got these also clamp the vise in position to the base, so if you wanna swivel the vise, you can. So these need to come out far enough, then this will lift off like that. So the set screws come in and grab here. So anyway, that's off. Now we can come up here. I've already laid this out. So now typically how I install a vise is the face of the back jaw needs to just extend past cabinet, like 1/4 inch or something like that. Way you can clamp something vertically in it without contacting his. But Matt likes the aesthetics of having it back a little further, and generally he's not clamping big pipes in this thing. And so what he uses it for, having it back a little further, suits his needs and he likes the look. So I copied what he did in Harbor Hills. I went back and actually looked at the video so I could learn how to install and drill holes. So I knew how far back he had it there, which was 9 centimeters. So that's what I'm doing. I'm copying that. I confirmed that with him. He said, yeah, I just put it where I had the other one. I liked it. So anyway, so I've put some tape down so we don't scratch anything. I marked it out with a pencil and spotted here. So I'm going to drill a couple of pilot holes. And then what we have that goes in here are these socket head cap screws that fit into this counter bore here. So they're nice and flush. So Home Depot does not sell these. I had to go to Lowe's for those. And even Lowe's only had 3. So I'm gonna do all 4 holes, get 3 of the bolts in, and then I'll come back and add the 4th when I get another one. So anyway, get the holes drilled and we'll get it installed. All right, so they are 3/8 bolts, so I'm using a 7/16 bit for a little bit of clearance. If you have these laid out well enough, you won't need a bigger hole than that. Okay. So, see that eject feature there? That was perfect, huh? That was good timing. All right, let me get a vacuum and vacuum this up, and then we can bolt the vise up. We do have a vacuum. Some guy installed this. Some guy, what's name is Mike. So that ought to be enough. Good suction.
I got a little ribby in here in the garage.
That's very nice ribby in there, Mike. Mike, you want one of those, huh?
Yeah.
You should get one of those for your lady. All right, there's that. Let me go turn this off. Hey, Mike, watch this. Have you seen this action before? Watch. Done. It tickles my fancy every time I use that. It does, I like it. All right, so take this off.
How many hours are we in, Mike?
In this garage?
Yep.
4 days, 4 full days. Oh, you mean total? Oh gosh, I don't even know. Is that what you're talking about, total?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I
want your garage to look like this.
haven't kept track. I could guess. I probably have paint, lighting, bet you I've been in this garage 3 weeks. So 3 weeks, and I work more than 40 hours typically, so it's probably like 135 hours-ish. And Matt's done some stuff too. I mean, believe it or not, organization takes a lot of time too, and he spent a lot of time organizing, you know? So I don't know how many hours he has in just tinkering and putting things away, and as he calls it, piddling, but that's necessary. If you want it to look like this, you have to be able to have some vision as to how you want things to look and organize, and he's really good at that. So anyway, there's that. Okay, get our bolts in here. Yeah, it's not hard. We just need one more bolt for right there. That's that. Then I got some.
This vise is available on your website.
It is. I actually just posted effect. I love this vise. I had a Wilton vise, which is a very durable, expensive cast iron and steel vise. But this thing is so smooth. I love it. I mean, you wouldn't want to beat on it with a sledgehammer like my Wilton vise. I could put something in there like a 3-inch pipe and try to break a fitting off of it and hit it with a 10-pound sledge, and I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't want to do that with this vise. Not that it wouldn't take it, but I would hate to scratch it and beat on it like that. This vise is like high-end and super smooth. I love it. If you're doing like work that you don't want to mar, it's got aluminum jaws, which is really nice. So you're not going to mar anything up, clamping stuff in there. Whereas a cast iron, knurled jaw is going to screw everything up. Let's see here. Yeah, not in the washer.
We're good.
Yep, that's perfect. 3 inches perfect. It's exactly flush. All right. That. There's that. And then these are 6mm. Let's get those. They just have to touch, and then that'll keep it from, can't fall out. Now you can lock this in place whatever position you want the vise in. So, now what I was saying earlier is I typically put a vise where the back side of this jaw is just beyond the countertop. So if you want to clamp something in like this way, it's not bound against the countertop. But aesthetically, Matt likes it further back, and like I said, he's not going to be clamping things like that in here. We have OG to do that for, so he's more about the clamping smaller things in here. Like if you need an extra hand, you want to clamp a nut in here and break something loose, break a bolt loose, you can do that still. Anyway, so when you get the position you want, like he likes storing the vise tucked back like this. So we just do this. Make sure we bring this like this. He likes storing it like that, and then you can just snug these up a little bit, and then it's not going to move. And you can still use the vise back here too, because you can do this with the handle, like that. So if you want to work way out, in further on the countertop, you still can. I like it.
Oh, it's nice.
So I think what makes this OG, I think I mentioned that, is this part of it is anodized blue, and this thing's all like billet aluminum. The jaws, I think this is all aluminum. I don't think this is stainless, I believe. And this comes apart, so you can get the handle through. It's got a nice O-ring on here, so when it hits, it doesn't make a clack. It's nice and quiet. Pretty cool vise. I'm not sure where he found this, if it was SEMA or what, but I approve of it. He doesn't like me using them because I use them.
Yeah. You leave some dust on there.
Well, I'd leave some, I'd clamp things in there, and like I said, I would never beat onto the sledgehammer, but I definitely use a vise for its intended purpose, where, he'll use it, but like he's very careful. I wouldn't be surprised if he were going to clamp something in here, he'd put a microfiber towel in first and then clamp it in there so he doesn't scratch it. I mean, this place is a showcase anyway, so you don't want to beat things up.
You got a lot of haters, Mike, that say you don't use your tools.
Matt uses his tools. I use them. I use his tools a lot too, but he uses them. People got to get off him about that. He does use his tools. Just because he's not a pro, I mean, he still uses them. I'm serious, he does. I've seen him. It's fun to watch him use tools.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
He gets kind of mad sometimes.
He does? Yeah. Yeah, I like him have his little, when he gets mad at himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. Yeah.
He's like,
Stupid.
am I stupid?
Am I stupid or something? What did I do here? Yeah, it's fun. You know, I mean, for a guy that's like had his whole life has been in more of the executive world, he does all right. You know, he does all right. Better than a lot of guys that I know that think they're mechanics. So I'll give him some. Well, you know, I don't want to get into that debate, but I've had a Snap-on toolbox.
Yeah.
I had a nice Snap-on toolbox. They're made by National Cabinet Company. Snap-on doesn't make them. Snap-on makes their hand tools, but Snap-on doesn't make everything they sell. So I'm not dissing on Snap-on. They just rebrand the National Toolbox and put a Snap-on brand on it. So are they the best? I'm afraid they're not. But they're good. They're okay. There's nothing wrong with them. You're paying a lot for the name, though. That's my opinion. I've had them. I have a lot. I own a lot of Snap-on tools. A lot. I have a lot of their air tools, and I have all wrenches, screwdrivers, pry bars, pullers, gear pullers, all that stuff is all Snap-on. I like it, but if what I like more is the organization of Sonic. Are the tools as good? I don't know, but the organization's amazing. Anyway, so that's my take. Like when you open a drawer, like, I mean, now I've got some of these out, but like you can't beat this. Snap-on doesn't have this. And some of these European, the way they design some of their stuff is better. I'm not saying it's the best, but it's some of the ergonomics of the European stuff is pretty cool.
Hey, Mike, I think I should clean this up.
Mike, you spilled a little bit of my coffee there, buddy. I just let it go right by. I was not going to say anything, but yeah, you might want to wipe that up. You know. So what I'm doing is going to install the speakers. So I'm finding the center line, which is right here. Between these two cabinets is a center line and center line TV. So I'm laying that out. I'll measure that center line. Then what I have to do is open the garage, see where the garage ends when it opens, and I want to have those speakers installed on this side of the door so that they're not down firing into the door. So that was Matt's request. So they're going to go roughly in this area here. So then all I've got to do, I've already got the wire run up in the attic. All I've got to do is figure out where that is, make sure I'm not going to be, there's not a truss in the way. Then I have to cut the holes, slide those in, wire them up, and that's it. It's super simple.
Feeding out of that.
I already have them come up. Yeah, the two wires there are all feeding in the attic. They're just sitting up here right now loose. So I'll just figure out center line, figure out where they need to go as far as spacing. They should be about 8 feet apart is what we talked about. So it'll be 4 foot off the center line on each direction. And like I said, I just have to make sure there's no truss in the way. If there is, I'll have to adjust layout. Obviously the lights are an issue too. I think you're probably right about where the speakers need to go. So if I have to, I'll ask Matt whether he wants them inside of that or outside of that. But I'll get it laid out and get them installed. And that's the end of the project as far as I know. I don't think there's anything left to do. All right, so I think we're officially wrapped up. Yesterday, I had to get the rear channel speakers installed. Had to do some finagling because we really wanted them 16 feet apart, just like these two, the desk bookshelf speakers, but we couldn't do that. So reason is there was a truss in the way here, plus you'd have that speaker behind all this crap, which wouldn't look good. So I narrowed it up a little bit with Matt's permission, since he's the audio guy. I ended up narrowing them up a little bit. So those are done, all wired in. So the system is complete. Everything is functioning. We've got all the wiring done. So he's got all his chargers in here. We have, I think I mentioned there's a total of 36 receptacles in here. There are 8 more behind all this. Plus you've got those 8, the double duplexes and the strips here. I also completed the charger, or not charger, but power for the Apple TV and the TV. So those are actually plugged into the surge suppressor. That receptacle follows back and plugs into the surge suppressor, so they are protected. So that's done. And I think that's it. We've got everything else is buttoned up. I think we mentioned, I'm pretty sure I mentioned, we added these pieces in here to fill out that trim there.
Turn on those under cabinet lights there, Mike.
Yeah, we can turn those on. Yeah, these function too. Yeah, look at that, huh? Look at that, that's fancy. High end. nothing but the best. So anyway, I think that wraps it. Vise is done, the other bolt in, and I guess it's now gonna become a production studio because you're gonna shoot a wash and drive.
That's right.
So that's what all this stuff's here. We got Manny, Eric here, Alex here, ready to do some things with Maddie, and I'm gonna go do some other projects, so.
So probably we'll have a full walk around video.
Yeah, Matt, I'm sure we'll go through all this, his thoughts, and that'll be probably a separate video, I'm sure. Right, Mike?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Go over all the little details.
Yeah, because it's going to take Matt. Matt's very good at explaining.
About an hour long.
It's probably, you may narrow that down a little bit. Yeah, he'll go over everything. But at least you know what went into it. There was quite a bit of work. I mean, it doesn't look like it, but there's a lot of detail work, and you know, you don't want to mess it up because you don't want to have to rebuy countertops or backsplash. So a lot of care and thought went into all this.
How many hours?
This is probably a 45, 50 hour phase to do this. Audio, countertops, backsplash, receptacles, all that stuff. Yeah, probably about 45, 50 hours.